video go super viral where I talked about the walk away method, where basically you approach a girl in the store, you tell her she's pretty, and you walk away, and she's going to be intrigued, and she's going to follow you and ask you for your number, sorry. Anyways, why were the #1 comments on that video, I'll get pepper sprayed, or don't even try it, guys, or if you're not over 6 foot, it's not worth it, or you can only do this if you're hot? It's so crazy, and I know that sometimes girls can be a little difficult sometimes, but I'm starting to think that guys just aren't even trying, because I have lots of girlfriends, I'm a girl myself, and I've been approached in public, and I always make it a very positive experience. Even if a guy asks for my number, if he just walks up to me and straight up asks for my number, I'll just say, oh, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend, even if I don't. So I'm kind of over this narrative of men being like, oh, don't even try it, it's not even worth it. Because I think 99% of women would absolutely love for you to come up and give them a compliment. It's starting to feel like you just want to be the victim, and you're blaming us, saying we act like you're creepy, but in reality that's not true. I know most girls, it would make their entire day if a guy came up and complimented them.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll be discussing the story of a woman who went on a bachelorette trip to Mexico, how her husband found out she cheated, and how she manipulated him into staying with her despite the betrayal. We want to invite you to smash that like button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year so we can get our first plaque. That's the only support we ask of you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Share your experiences in the comments for any man who might need them. And without further ado, let's get started.
This one is for my moms. This one is for my moms that have multiple school-age children. So I know how I handled sending my first baby to kindergarten. And I cried on the way to work, and then I was fine. I'm trying to figure out what is different about the last kid that you sent to kindergarten. Because I don't know if it's a combination of like watching your older kid take your baby into school, or if it's just the realization that you really don't have a baby anymore. I'm asking because this seems like excessive emotion. but also I know that I'm not alone, and I know that a lot of moms do this. So I'm pretty much just asking for a friend, what you did throughout the day to cope, because I cannot be like this today. Like, how do you keep yourself from going in there and just sitting with her? And she wasn't even sad. That's the thing. She said, bye, Mom. She walked in there. She asked me to help her hang up her little book bag. And then she said, okay, bye, I love you. What do we do now? Oh my God. Anyway, that's all.
I don't know if you've noticed, but women have this art of crying over everything. It's like a gift from the enemy, the ability to tear up over anything. That's why the saying goes, she can look at you with teary eyes and still be lying to you. But getting to the point, the most beautiful thing a woman can do in her life is to have children. The second most important thing in a woman's life is to choose the father of her child. What you've just seen are the most beautiful moments in a woman's life. She enjoys these moments because she's in charge of taking care of her children, because she has a husband who provides for her and allows her to be a mother. I put this out there so you can see the difference and happiness of a woman who knows how to choose the right father for her children. Thanks to maintaining the family, she has the opportunity to enjoy these moments.
Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. Title of this story is, Am I the Astronaut for Suspecting My Wife After She Went to Mexico and Spent No Money and Took No Pictures? She went on a Leave No Trace trip? I am in the middle of probably the biggest crisis of my adult life, and I can barely think, so I apologize in advance if this comes across as really weird or rambly. My wife went to Mexico last week for a friend's bachelorette party, and aside from the plane ticket, the hotel, and the first day's food and drinks, she didn't spend a penny all week. I mean, on the credit card, it's clear as day that on Monday and up until about 9 p.m., she was buying dinner, stuff at the hotel, shop, drinks at the bar, souvenirs. And then at 9 p.m., she didn't spend another cent the entire week until she was at her layover airport in Dallas. She says it's because her friend took over and paid for everything. I guess this is plausible, but it's still giving me a funny feeling. What is worse is that my wife is a person who posts her entire life on Instagram and TikTok, mostly Instagram. But if she does anything from getting a latte to picking up the kids at school, she will post it either as a picture or as a story. The last thing she posted on TikTok was that a trend of people jumping into their vacation from the airport. And after that, her social media is blank. I was kind of keeping an eye on it because I was excited for her to go on the trip. And again, I guess it's plausible, but it gives me a funny feeling. When she got home, I said, I can't wait to see all the pics she took. And she really blew me off and said she just didn't feel like taking pics that week. She has also been incredibly distant. And last night she said she just felt like sleeping on the couch because the AC hits better. This is 100% true, but I swear I heard her talking on the phone in the middle of the night. When I got up to check on her, I accidentally tripped over the dog and made a huge racket. So when I got downstairs, she appeared to be asleep. I brought all of this up this morning and said I'm not accusing her of anything, but all of this put together is making me feel uneasy. I wasn't trying to bait her or fight with her, just get my feelings on the table. She said, you are a major asshole for bringing this up on her first day back at work. I said I wasn't trying to pry, just communicating with her. And she said, your communication is prying, and I am not discussing this with you ever again. She then took the kids to summer camp and left. Am I the astronaut? We have an edit and an update, but for someone to go on a trip, and it is plausible, like bachelorette trips, you know, if it's an all-inclusive thing, it's possible that they were like, all right, you don't spend another dime. Everything is on us from here on out. Could be. What about the rest of it, though? Her behavior change is more alarming, right? And she's defensive. And as we read in a story earlier, it's the response that elevates.
Oh, hell no!
Brothers, human beings are creatures of habit. When you get used to doing something, your brain starts doing it on autopilot. This woman is the typical type who shares her entire life on social media. She was all excited about this trip, as her husband mentioned, and he even supported her in going. But she doesn't post a single photo, spends only on what she consumes at the hotel, and when she comes back, she's acting strange and defensive. These are clear red flags. This woman is hiding something, feeling guilty, and that's why she's defensive. She doesn't want to be around her husband, and she didn't come back from the trip eager to share what she did, which is very unusual for any woman after a trip. We've said it many times here. A man who lets his woman go on a girl's trip doesn't really have a woman, and it's even worse if it's a bachelorette party. You all know the chaos that goes down at those bachelorette parties. They're worse than the guys. But let's continue.
The sus factor. Okay, let's dive into the edit here. Edit. So I realized that her text probably synced to her iPad, so I just checked. Took me a while to figure out the passcode, but I did. But there was an iMessage at 9:15 the night she got to the resort to a number with no contact info that said, okay, I'll meet you in the lobby. Is the app you said Signal? I looked up Signal, and it's kind of like WhatsApp. The iPad doesn't have Signal on it. So she downloaded a different app to chat with somebody and then deleted it. Edit 2, if you have been following my comments, you've seen that my sister is coming over and she's an insane internet sleuth and is relentless when it comes to this kind of cheating stuff. She also scares me a bit, so I'm hoping this isn't a mistake. I'm going to probably stop responding for a while so we can talk and she can do her thing. I am numb, but she can do this. Thanks for everyone and the nice comments and the reality check. It's not looking good. Edit 3, she cheated. My sister was able to get lots of info from the real estate guy, and my wife denied it at first, but then admitted it. Sorry it took so long to update, but I'm numb. I have literally zero idea what to do now. Edit 4 was deleted for personal reasons for OP, per Candy Thunder. Understood. Edit 5. I know people really want updates, and we've been talking, arguing, screaming, threatening all day long. I'm more confused than I was this morning, that's for sure. But I'm also confused, exhausted, sad, upset, nervous, and I don't know what to do. I did make a preliminary appointment with a family law attorney tomorrow to talk about protecting assets and how to navigate the legal way ahead, regardless of what I choose to do. I will say there's a subreddit that this was cross-posted to, and it may be the most toxic group of people I've ever seen online, and I feel really bad for those people. As for the privacy issues, no one has figured out who we are. That's not a challenge, by the way. I'm very tired, and I doubt people are still invested, but if there's still an interest, I can update either on this post or a new one in a few days. I'm really hoping to sleep tonight. My sister still has the kids, and they are having a blast and went to the lake with her boyfriend's family today, so I'm glad they're in good hands. And the official update now. Yeah, I have some professional buddies, like some industry buddies who like to use Signal for chatting. And that's literally it. But it's one of those, if your company uses it and you want to interface or engage with other collabs, or apparently if you're trying to hide cheating.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
She cheated. Nothing new under the sun in the life of a woman who travels. Girls' trips, bachelorette parties, this was all planned. From the start, she traveled alone. The second red flag was staying at a hotel with no photos, no updates about the trip, keeping everything very private. The worst sign is that she was defensive, didn't even want to sleep with her husband. That's what happens when guilt takes over. There's something we've always said. A man's instinct never fails. When you see this kind of strange behavior in your woman, you can assume something is wrong. This is what I mean by being a good man. If this had been a man with masculine boundaries who told her he doesn't accept girls' trips, she wouldn't have cheated. But he was the typical nice, permissive guy, letting his wife go alone to another country for a supposed bachelorette party. And what did she do with his trust? The same thing every woman does to a nice guy. Cheat on him with a chat. She didn't care that she had kids and a life with this man. She only cared about her feelings for Chad and having a few passionate days with him in Mexico. But later, they say all men are bad, right? Let's continue, because this is where the video gets good.
Official update. Good morning, everyone. I know it's been a while, but as I'm sure you can imagine, this has been the worst week of my life, and it's been an absolute whirlwind of activity trying to get things set up in a life that I don't really even recognize anymore. First of all, I'm now in the process of getting a legal separation from my wife with the aim of getting divorced. She and I both want to take the process very slow so it's fair to everyone. I do have a personal lawyer who is handling the separation, but even she recommends that it will be cheaper and easier for us to do a mediated divorce. She, edit the lawyer, not my wife, has a colleague who has this sort of package deal where we will work together with a certified counselor while we are meeting with the mediation lawyer to handle the legal aspects. The goal is to learn to be co-parents and friendly while we go through the breakup. I know my wife is hoping to see the counselor with the aim of reconciling. I am doing the counseling so I can learn how to treat her with some sort of respect as the mother of my kids for their benefit. I can't possibly see reconciling, but I guess stranger things have happened. Just to those of you who read along last week, know that my sister is one of those internet sleuths who if you can tell her a first initial in someone's eye color, she can come up with the person's entire life history in a matter of minutes. I've pretty much let her handle all of the dirty work. She did some research on the guy, and he's an absolute piece of shit. He has judgments and liens against him all over the country. He has 6 kids with 4 different women and is delinquent on child support in most of them. And it seems like his MO is to just wait until the kid turns 18 and hope they stop coming after him. And this is the guy my wife picked to ruin everything for. My sister did get in touch with his current wife and said that she has pics and text messages to prove that he was cheating, and so far has not heard back from her. Who knows what's going on with that? My assumption is it's happened so many times she expects it and tolerates it, or maybe we will hear back from her. It was the first gut reaction that I felt too. It's not a surprise to her, and it's happened before. My wife and I are still in the house together until the separation is official, and we may continue to be even after the legal separation is done. I just don't know, and I figure as long as we can be friendly to each other, then it's okay. I had to go away on business last week, and when I got back on Saturday, it was pretty clear the fight in her was gone, and she wanted to talk and accept full responsibility, and was willing to come clean about the whole thing. I told her I really didn't need to hear anymore because her affair partner had confessed the whole thing and even sent pics. I think her thing now is that she's utterly humiliated and has been very quiet, even obsequious as her general manner around the house. It's not really what I want because I didn't get married to have a servant, and the change in her normal fiery and funny personality is only a reminder that something is really wrong. Kids are doing fine. They're spending a lot of time with my sister and her boyfriend and his family, so hopefully looking back, this will just be the summer before their parents got divorced and are missing the turmoil in the house. I guess if there are questions, I can try to answer them, but that's pretty much what's been going on here. There is one more update, but damn, obsequious. Yeah, like subservient, right? Damn. Mel J. Wolf, thank you so much. With the the love and the hearts on the YouTube side of the stream. It does make a difference. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, poor guy. Like, what? So how did she not think when she was going to do this that it wasn't going to be suspicious? And apparently, it wasn't even a Bachelorette thing. Apparently, she was just going to have this hookup. The Bachelorette thing was.
Damn!
Do you see why being a good man never pays off? A man who respects himself doesn't let his woman go on a trip alone, especially not to a bachelorette party. This trip was simply a setup to meet with that man. And who did she choose? The classic, well-known Chad. A man who brings nothing to the table except his seed. A man who's a delinquent, with 6 kids from 4 different women. They never leave you for someone better. They leave you for a useless guy who's just fun in bed. I'm sure that short trip was spent entirely in the hotel, which is why she didn't spend anything else, and there were no other photos. So, imagine that they didn't leave the room. She was enjoying herself with Chad. The husband was lucky he figured it out. He wasn't a fool like many simps who play dumb in these situations out of fear of upsetting their woman, because he could have ended up raising Chad's 7th child. Another mistake this man made was not kicking her out of the house. Forget about a friendly divorce. She needed to be out. If he leaves her there, sooner or later they'll sleep together, and he'll forgive her. You can't reward bad behavior. If she cheats, she needs to leave the house. At least he's filing for divorce. She knows what she's doing, probably getting advice from her friends, telling her to treat him well, do everything he wants, dress sexy so he'll forget. Don't fall into that trap. The first thing you need to do is distance yourself. Kick her out of your house. You didn't cheat, so you shouldn't leave your home. Let her go, but let's continue.
The Bachelorette thing was a farce. Okay, here's the update that is on surviving infidelity. Hello, my posts from the last 2 weeks have gained quite a bit of traction on the AITAH pages, and several people have advised me to post here. Long story short is that my wife went on a trip to Mexico and had a mostly emotional/financial affair, but it got physical at least once. It certainly would have been more, but the guy had pretty severe health issues. I am beside myself with anger and embarrassment, but as the days have gone on, I am thinking that I can't live without her. We have been together since we were 13. We have kids. I have a side business with her dad. I'm great friends with her brother, and my family loves her like a daughter. We're scheduled to bring the divorce mediation next week while also doing co-parent counseling, so the process is moving forward. Part of me feels like I'm grasping at straws to forgive her, but part of me feels like she has shown me a lot of grace and forgiveness, and I should give her the same chances she gave me. When we were 15, I cheated on her while I was at a baseball camp. Not only did I cheat on her, I dumped her when I got home, explicitly told her it was her fault that I cheated on her because the girl wasn't a good girl Christian. And then I dated other girls that school year and rubbed it in her nose at every opportunity. It wasn't until she started dating that I realized how sorry I was and begged her to take me back. In 17 years, she's never held my behavior against me, except for some light ribbing now that we're older. She forgave me unequivocally, and I vowed that I would never hurt her like that again, and I truly haven't. But I can admit cheating as a horny 15-year-old guy is a far cry from cheating as a 32-year-old mother of 2. She had so much more to lose and so many more people who would be hurt by her actions, but she loved me enough to forgive me even though it must have crushed her. I have to admit there's a huge part of me that feels I owe her a second chance because she gave me one, even though the circumstances are so much different. I'm not even really asking what I should or should not forgive her. Rather, are these emotions normal? Am I rationalizing something that should not be right?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Brothers, what you just witnessed here is the evolution of a nice guy into a conscious cuckold. A man who lets his woman cheat but stays silent out of fear of losing her. I told you he was falling into a trap. If you let your anger cool down, you won't make any decisions. When he let her stay in the house, they continued living together throughout the divorce process, then came therapy, and then she started acting well-behaved. Of course, this would make him doubt whether to leave her or not. A cheater never changes. Women are experts in manipulation. She probably started treating him well, cooking his favorite meals, making him feel like they had a perfect family again. I'm sure there was some intimacy, even if he doesn't admit it now. You know those nights of passion where you're angry, but still do it with a lot of intensity. What happens after? He starts doubting, thinking, am I going to throw all this away over a simple mistake? She forgave me when I was young. It's not the same as a teenage relationship. This is a 15-year marriage with 2 kids. It wasn't a business trip. She went to meet a Chad who was a delinquent. I'm sure she even paid for the hotel to be with that man, with whom she spent several days without leaving the room. She came back home thoroughly worn out. She even went to the couch on the first night back so her husband wouldn't touch her, because of how well Chad had worked her over. Friend, have some dignity. Not kicking her out of the house and staying with her. This outcome was inevitable.
Should not be rationalized. Okay. Everybody's going to view this a little bit differently. I feel like, OP, yes, you are rationalizing something that should not be rationalized. I feel like you are grasping at straws here. You feel what is the comfort of your normal world right now slipping away, and you're grasping at anything you can to try to slow that process down. But all of the things that you mentioned, having the side business with her dad, being really close with her brother, those things don't change. Your family loving her like a daughter, that'll probably change. But the other things can keep going. A lot of your life can keep going the way it is. It doesn't have to change. Your connections with previous family members don't have to change, especially if you're in business. The whole 15-year-old thing, like, come on, man. Come on. Yes, that's shitty. Shouldn't have done that 17 years ago. Is it 17? Is that right? I understand that there are kids involved. Here's the deal, though. The example for what your children will believe love is and a marriage should be are going to be the example that you set for them in this house. And if you accept this, not to say that it's not fixable, she could do the work to fix this whole thing. I don't know that she's willing to right now. I don't know. But I'm not saying it's not fixable. But if it's not fixable, that child can grow up with healthy parents who choose themselves and choose happiness, and they can provide a great example. If you stay and it's this broken, toxic relationship full of regret and resentment, and it's backhanded compliments to each other, and it's just being shitty, and it's you never fully trusting her and her always being on guard or being obsequious around the house, that is not the example that you want to create for your kids as for what love in a marriage should be. I do not think. You have to look at everything that is involved with every choice that you make here. So let's say, yes, you grasped at straws here and you're like, oh, she gave me a second chance. I should give her one. Okay. What happens later on? How are you going to heal the two of you? How are you going to heal this relationship? How are you going to heal this family? How is it going to work? It is not as simple as just saying, yes, I'll forgive it, or no, I won't. Nothing is simple about this. Everything you do is going to be complicated. You just have to make sure that you think it through and choose the one that takes you to what your goal really is. What do you want? What do you want, OP? You have to answer that. And then remember that every time you're making a choice.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
When trust is broken, there's no relationship left. What he should have done is leave her, reclaim his dignity as a man, and not let himself be used by a woman who cheated on him. When you reward a child for bad behavior, the child will do it again. These women are just like children in adult bodies. And this is why cheating hurts. There's something I call the 3 types of cheating in a relationship from a woman. When a woman cheats because you abuse her, you're a bad man, and you cheat too. When a woman cheats because you're not a provider, and she does it with a guy who has more money than you. When you're a good man, father, husband, you give her everything, show her love, don't cheat. And yet she cheats on you with a man who offers nothing to her life except sex. This is the one that hurts the most because it wasn't because you were bad or because of money. It's because she has a genuine interest in that man, because she likes him in bed, because he makes her feel better than you do. As painful as it is, what I'm saying is the truth. Genuine interest, as I've said many times, is non-negotiable. If you stay with a cheater, you're just buying a ticket to live in hell consciously, so don't complain when it happens again, and your dignity gets trampled on once more. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Would you have forgiven your wife for cheating after living together for 13 years? Do you think it was just a one-time thing, or did she spend many days in the hotel with Chad? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.